What is up, fellas? We've got the big, I would say all new. It's a redo for 2021. They have revamped some of the electronics in the Night Radian, and we're going to do an unboxing and build because, you know, these simple airplanes, these are the ones that I like to do live because sometimes you run into these hiccups and it's not as simple as it seems, right? So good to see everybody on a Saturday afternoon. I know a lot of folks are going to be out there flying. And if all goes well with the build, I'm going to take this thing out and fly it tonight. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing out of the box and see what's up. It's one of them long boxes that you got to like slide the styrofoam out. I'm not a big fan of these kinds of boxes. I did, Pilot Ryan, I done did it. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room. The box is too big. It's there's so many that's what she said moments happening right now. Yes. All right. We got that part out of the way. Take my trusty Alpha knife and start cutting away, digging in, finding out what we got in here. All right, so for those that have never seen a Night Radian, or at least the build of one, it looks fairly straightforward. Two-piece wing. It looks like the vertical stab is molded into the fuse. Got a carbon spar here. This is our horizontal stab. Like I said, the vertical stab and the rudder molded into the fuse, so we don't have to worry about that. We got a couple of wings in the box here. We have our instruction manual. There's a spot in the box for a radio, but this is the bind and fly model, not the ready to fly. So I did not receive a radio. We got one wing here. We got another wing here. And our main fuse. I'm gonna grab some wire cutters. Because the main fuse is held in with a big old zip tie. All right, so that's our fuselage for the Night Radian. The folding propeller is already installed, so that is nice. And we have our little canopy battery compartment. Everything is pretty tight up in there, so we'll see how this all goes down. All right. So the new version of the Night Radian, it does have the AR631 receiver in there. And we'll go ahead and get this part of the box out of the way. Set that in our handy dandy Ernst stand. We'll be going off camera here for a little bit to get all this packing material out of the way. Oh. All right. So, let's see what we got here. I'm going to do the very sacrilegious duty of taking the manual out of the bag. Don't do it. Don't read the book. And see what the manual tells us as far as the assembly. It doesn't look like it is too difficult. There's only really 3 pieces that need to bolt onto the fuse here, so I mean, how hard could it be? So that's interesting. The horizontal stab gets held in with tape. It doesn't even have bolts. This might be the easiest build I've ever done. So Fry Guy, this has the AR631. It is a new receiver, or relatively new, and it has, it's forward programming capable, has AS3X, safe, all that good stuff. So this is the replacement receiver for the old AR636. All right. Well, that's nice. So one of the things that we have to do on the Night Radian, I mean, every control surface, every wing, everything has lights all over the place, right? So what they've done here is they've made it where the connector there that's going to plug the lights in on the horizontal stab is kind of molded in to the side of these little plastic areas. And that's going to make it nice and simple for us to slide that in, get it plugged in, and tape it in place. That does seem weird, that it's kind of a tape together kind of deal, but hey, all good. So right now I'm just looking inside there so I can see how the pins are oriented. It looks like our signal wire is all the way to the back. So when I plug that connector in, it's going to be with the signal wire towards the back of the plane. All right, so we got that plugged in. Now I'm kind of curious what it wants you to do, or if it even says what to do with the extra wire. I mean, do you just tape it down? Looks like that might be it. We'll just tape it out of the way so it doesn't get caught up. Now the wire is on the same side as the control rod for the elevator. So I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way they go with it. If they put it on one side, it's going to be on the control rod for the elevator. If they put it on the other, it's the control rod for the rudder. So we will just make it work. Okay. So it just says to center it up, right? So I guess we do the best that we can do, and then tape it. So I'm going to grab a little ruler here and make sure that we got the same measurement on both sides out to the centered up as best as I can. So that's right about 219 millimeters. And yep, so that looks pretty good. Go ahead and tape it down. So they give you a little baggie that has all of the materials that you'll need. A couple of bolts for the wings and our little pieces of tape here. All right. Now the tape just looks like clear Scotch tape. So if you don't want to mess around with, trying to get the tape off of the backing and you got clear Scotch tape around, it looks like that will work just as well to hold this horizontal stab in place. Yeah, it'd be nice if the backing on these little tape strips was, had the little split in the backing, that makes it easier to peel it off. All right, so sadly, it looks like this is probably going to be the most difficult part of the whole build. Peeling off these little pieces of tape from the paper backing. So there may be some, let me catch up on the chat a little bit. All right, so good to see some folks in here. We got Garrett out in Alabama, Mr. Scott Settle, Wild Bill, Great Scott RC, Nate, what's up? All right, so we're just about done securing our horizontal stab here. Taping it down. All right, that is that. But like I said, I'm also going to tape down the wire here that plugs the light strip from the horizontal stab into the main fuselage. I've got some other clear tape here that I'll use for doing that. All right, so we got that button down. We got, it looks like we got that secured. So that should stay out of the way. And the clevis for the rudder is already attached. We're probably going to be taking that loose when we do our mechanical adjustments after we get the radio bound up. We're done with the horizontal stab. We're going to go ahead and move to the wings. So this is indeed a pretty simple build so far. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too extravagant. I mean, everybody that is familiar with these things, I mean, y'all know what they're all about. Simple models, but fun, relaxing, you know, get out there, have a good time, fly it around, turn on the lights, go out at night. All right, so we'll just insert our wing spar. And now the hole for the lights, right? The hole for the wing spar, they have stuffed the servo extension, you know, so the lead that plugs the LEDs into the main fuselage controller, that is stuck in the hole where the spar would go. So be sure you pull that out before you attach the wing. We'll go ahead and slide the wing down onto the wing spar. So the wing spar here, and rather than going into like a carbon spar on the inside of the wing, it just slides into just a bare foam area. So it is a little, you know, tight, squeezing it in there, not a big deal. And before I continue, there is a hole in the wing cavity that slides up and into this lower electronics bay. So there's a little electronics bay where you can get to your elevator and your rudder servos. And that is also, you know, where your wire will go into for the lights that go out onto the right and left wings. I'm just grabbing some needle nose pliers here and pulling that connector up as I slide the wing into place. All right, so we got that up here. I'll tell you what, that spar is a little, I mean, it's not hard to slide into the foam, but it's certainly not as easy as if you know, a lot of these wings, they'll have another carbon spar where the inside diameter of the carbon spar in the wing is the exact same as the outside diameter of the carbon spar that goes into the fuse. You know, so with those types of scenarios, you're sliding one piece of carbon into another, and they're kind of self-lubricating, so the wing just slides right on. But when the carbon is sliding into foam, it can get a little tricky. So there may be something that you can baby powder. Baby powder would probably be a good idea. So let me try that. I might have some baby powder. Now, with the baby powder, are you just like putting it on the spar, or are you putting it on the wing? You know, I mean, you can't really put it down into that hole. Nate's got the jokes. You know, I do have some 2-in-1 oil. I wonder if that, I don't want to eat up the foam. I'll be right back. I'm getting the baby powder. I'm doing it. You know, it's funny because I think you guys can still hear me when I'm off camera. All right. So I got some baby powder in my hand. I don't know what it smells like. It might be lavender. It's not like, it doesn't smell like baby powder. Uh-oh. I have to sweep that up later. I know I'm making this more difficult on myself than it needs to be. There's got to be an easier way. All right, that feels like it's in as far as it's going to go now. All right, we got one wing on. Let's go for wing number 2. Again, don't forget to pull that LED wire out of there, or that could create some issues for you. Uh-oh. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put the screw in here. For this wing, just to keep it from sliding out while we're putting the other wing on. It's never quite as easy as they say, right? You know, like, it always looks like it's going to be easy. But then you get in there and there's always something tricky going on with all of these planes. So I guess I found the tricky part. Sliding the wing onto that spar. All right, so I've got it on there a good ways here. Go ahead and get the wire for the wing tucked up. Come on. All right. We got that one pulled up in there. Boy, this is tricky. The baby powder didn't work that well. And you know, I hate to like break it. There it is. Not quite, not quite. I got a little bit more to go. Yeah, I hear you. Vaseline, baby powder, lube it up with something. The spar has baby powder on it. I may have needed to put that baby powder into the tube. That may have helped. Oh, it's so close. Man, it's so close. All right. So, what's everybody else's secret other than baby powder and personal lubricant? Oh my God, come on. I tell you what, it's always something. Giono, how you doing? Come on. You know, because the foam is so thin on the wings, you know, like I don't want to like manhandle this thing and try to like force it on there because you don't want to like break the wing or, you know, it just seems very delicate. So I'm trying to be as careful as I can. And man, what a this is the challenge, you know, forcing the that rod into the spar cavity. I never would have thought that this would be like what extends the build time, you know, is something so seemingly simple. You know, Scott Settle, the sad part is that I'm going to have to take the wings off to get it into the car, right? So I'm going to have to figure out something. You know, I think after I slide it on and off of there a few times, it should loosen up. I hope this stuff doesn't hurt foam. This is some 3-in-1 oil here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of that. That probably would work, Nate. So who knows the answer to that? Does 3-in-1 oil hurt foam? I mean, it's too late now, right? Actually, it's not. I could still wipe it off of there. But if anybody knows the answer before I start sliding this on here, that'd be awesome. All right, it's too late. I'm going for it. Nope, too late, Nate. It's too late. The deed is done. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? God. Oh, yeah. What? I didn't break it. It's all good. All right, I got it in there.
That's what she said.
Amy's got the jokes tonight. There we go, finally. Woo! That was somewhat challenging. You know, just getting the dang spar set up. All right. So we've got the wings installed. Now the nice part is on the top of the wings, they do have brass inserts in there, you know, for the wing bolts to go into. At the top, the wing bolts go in right through the bottom, right here and right here. So it's going to hold those wings on nice and secure for you. And again, at the back, the only piece that we had to put on was the horizontal stab here, which is held on with 4 pieces of clear tape. So we'll see how that stands up over time. It certainly makes it a little easier to set up. All right. Now, from here, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing bound up to the NX10. Now, I don't have a model set up in the NX10 yet. I don't know. All right, William, that's good to know that it gets a little easier the more you know, put the wing on and off. You know, there's some interesting things that are happening right now. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm going to read a little something something because they may have it set up where I just set it up as easy. So, yeah, we set up the wing as one aileron. You know what? I bet they have the rudder plugged into the aileron channel. Yeah, throttle, elevator, aileron. Yeah. So they don't have the rudder actually plugged into channel 4. They have the rudder plugged into channel 3. Smart stuff. And they've got the light controller here with an on-off switch. So I assume you can just turn the lights on and off. So that's nice. Now we do need to plug the wings in to the light controller on the bottom. So I'm going to do that real quick. You just have a little access door here that you open up. And you got a couple of spots in here on what looks like a little multi-function box. It probably plugs in, or, you know, at least fairly certain that all of the lights plug into this. It doesn't say which lights go where. I mean, I assume that the little hole in here that's closest to the left is for the left wing, and the hole that's closest to the right is for the right wing. So that's what I'm going to go with here. As far as I can see, there's no labeling here where you have to plug in the light arrays for the wings. So, like I said, I'm just plugging them into the holes that seem like they coincide with where we would do that. I'm going to kind of set the light controller out of the way. And we've got a manual bind port. I'm going to pull that out because we don't really need that extension, and it's just creating more wiring in here that I don't necessarily want. Let's see, we've got our ESC right here as well. I've got a couple of batteries already charged. So the battery I'm going to be using is a 3S 2200 30C pack. I'm going to slide it on back as far as I can get it, because otherwise I think we're probably going to be looking at a nose heavy scenario. And the cavity only goes back so far, right? So it's a hard wall back there. With this 2200 pack, you know, being on the larger side of their recommendations for this model, like I said, I just went ahead and pushed that 2200 pack as far back as I could get it. And let's see here. We're going to go with a new model. Actually, let's see if they have the template. Add new from template. We're going to add a new bind and fly model. What is the model number on this? EFL 36500. So I'm going through the bind and fly model templates that are built into the NX series. Let's see if they got the Night Radian in here. I would assume that they do. Looks like I may have assumed wrong. But it's not hard to set it up, so we're going to go ahead and just create a new model. Interesting. I mean, we're really not doing anything to it, right? We're setting up the model, and we're not really changing anything. So the only thing that I'm changing is the name. now we have that set up. Night Radian. Excellent. We'll go to aircraft type, wing normal, tail normal. We'll change the picture to look like a big old glider. Even though it's got a propeller. Hey, look, they have some. Fantastic. All right, we are now in bind mode. Bind, yes. All right, so we are bound up. All right, so we're gonna flip it over now that we're bound up. And before we turn on any kind of safe select modes or anything like that, we're gonna get all of our control surfaces done up. So we're a little bit off center here on the rudder, it looks like. Actually, the rudder's not bad. But it could use a little bit of an adjustment. So for those of you guys, I know that, you know, some of this stuff you can't really see all of it, but it does use standard clevises here, no ball links. So you've got just the standard plastic clevis with a little rubber band that goes over the clevis once you get it closed up. And we're just going to go with the outermost hole in the control rod here to maximize the throw that we have. Okay, so that should be good to go there. Yep, our rudder feels like it's in a good spot. We'll go ahead and connect the elevator. Now, right now, I'm just kind of exercising the elevator control surface because it is a foam hinge, and I like to, you know, kind of get them worked a little bit prior to connecting everything, so we're not adding too much stress to that control surface. And it looks like we need to do quite a bit of a adjustment to get the clevis lined up for the elevator. All right, so that feels pretty good right there. All right, so let's see what kind of movement we've got now. All right, rudder's moving in the right direction. Motor is spinning in the right direction. So now what I'm going to do is set up a rate switch real quick like. Actually, let's go ahead and show everybody what they're here for, right? Because it's a night Radian. Let's light this thing up. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the light controller. And it just uses a standard balance port. So we plug the balance port into the controller. And let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to turn out all these lights and see if we can see the lights a little better. We'll just do the rest in the dark. How cool is that, man? You know, this is what the Night Radian is all about. It might be, you know, it's just a glider. It's a 3-channel airplane. You got your throttle and, you know, elevator, rudder. That's it. No ailerons. It's just a nice, relaxing flyer, but you can put this thing up in the middle of the night. Now, I'll tell you, it's not as easy to maintain the orientation of these things. I have flown them before. I've never owned one, so this is the first one that I have had for myself. But they're not as easy to keep track of in the air as you would think, right? Oh, wow. So I'm just going to be pressing buttons because I know that there's like hundreds and hundreds of settings that you can do for these things. That must just be different colors. That's so cool. Yep, and that's like a speed light that speeds stuff up. And let's see what this third light does. So I know there's some different modes in here, you know, I mean, and I'm just cycling through them right now. There's some different modes in here to turn on, like, oh, that's neat. That can turn on like navigation lights with a beacon on the wingtips. So that's what I'm trying to find, is something where, I mean, this thing is like a Vegas light show, dude. It's crazy. But you know, who knows how you find the mode where the navigation lights are on? You know, where you can see like a definitive, you know, green and red just on the wingtips. I mean, it's got to be in there somewhere, right? I know I've seen it. Yeah, so I guess, the different buttons that are on here. Oh, look at that. Yep, obviously, there's tons and tons and tons of different modes on here. I just got to play around with them, find out what's what. Apparently, there's like 100 and some odd combinations. Who knows, man? This thing can do a lot of neat stuff. And it may be like the running lights at the very tips. That may be something that you're only able to do. I've seen some folks that have put like the wing nut controller on these where you can adjust it from the radio. And that may be how you get those running lights on the wingtips. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to, read through the manual, see if there's anything in there that gives you any kind of indication as to what does what. So far though, that's what we got. And, that 2200 3S pack fits in there just fine. It looks like for the controller, the way the canopy's set up, you just kind of fit it in there, right? I mean, it just kind of dangles around inside there. So you can get the canopy on. It does look like there's some venting built into the canopy, to kind of keep everything good, but, that's the model. And it does have a brake on the ESC. Like I said, I mean, everything looks like it's working fine. I just got to figure out like which light modes I like and kind of go from there. But so far, I mean, everything looks like it's working well. We'll go ahead and turn the lights back on. And the only challenge was just me being dumb and not knowing a good way to jam that spar. How to jam that spar through there. Yeah, reading the manual, I mean, that just seems like such a loser thing to do. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely going to read the manual and see if it tells me, gives me any better indication of what's going on here. Scott Settle, I'm going to try something real quick. So right now, let's go to, something where we'll remember, what light mode we're in. I mean, unfortunately, I turned off the lights, so you can't really see what's going on. Or I turned the lights back on. I mean, I can see what's going on here. It's like a blue and white kind of deal. So I'm going to do what you just asked and see what happens when I disconnect the power from the light circuit. Does it remember the last setting, or do we have to go through again and find what we like? So let me plug that back in and turn it on. So, Michael Nowland, is that only available if you buy the that Wingnut Tech deal? So let's see. Let me go backwards here. Huh. So I'm not sure. It almost looks like maybe the answer. There we go. Again, let me try that one more time. I'm trying to find a mode that I'll recognize when it comes back on. Disconnect it from power, plug it back in. Okay, so it does remember the last setting. So whoever was asking that question, the answer is yes. It does remember the last setting. All right. Are there any other questions about the crazy, very simple but very cool Night Radian? So, Mike SSI, it does seem like a bit of a miss. Now, I know that I have seen some footage of the like after that wingnut controller is put on there, that wingnut tech. Jono, I'm just gonna fly it at my field, man. Nothing crazy. I don't think this thing will stand up to like the slope soaring, or like the crazy, like cliff soaring that you see some of those gliders do. I mean, those things are composite with extremely stiff wings. This thing's not gonna hold up to that kind of wind, so I'll just be doing some nice standard glider type flying with this thing. Nothing too crazy. Now with the aftermarket controller, that Wingnut Tech controller, I think I saw Deuces Wild had a video on earlier today, actually. Maybe it was from last night, where he installed that controller board in his new night Radian, and it was able to, it had some light modes that I haven't seen in this one yet, right? So I don't know if those are light modes that are available exclusively through that controller, but it seemed to be able to individually address the wingtips and add like a beacon style mode where the left and right wings, those navigation lights stayed on all the time. So the left side was red, the right side was green, and they would flash white periodically like a beacon, which I thought was a very cool touch. Apparently there's some other neat features in that controller as well. So I definitely want to try one out. One of the aftermarket controllers. With that one, I can set up a channel on the radio, on a knob or something like that, where I can go through and I can change the light modes, very similar to what we do on the Draco. So I want to check one of those things out for sure. And I think that ties it directly into the receiver when you do it that way, because it needs a control channel on the receiver. So I think it draws the power for the lights from the receiver as well, rather than needing to plug it into a balance plug on your battery. So it kind of simplifies the installation. I believe it weighs a few grams less as well if you're looking for some extended battery life. But I think it's only like single-digit grams. That I think it weighs like 5 grams less. So it's probably not going to make that big of a difference on your flight times. Yeah, Mike SSI, I would think so. Not sure. Like I said, I'm going to read through the manual and see if there's anything that I'm missing. We'll be looking at it again on Monday night. We'll go back. We'll go more in depth of what I found, how it flies, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna. And I can feel me regretting this already, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull the wings off, stick it in the car, run out to the field, and give this thing a couple of flights. I got a couple of batteries here. Now, those two 2200 batteries probably mean that I'm gonna be out at the field for about an hour with this thing. But I want to take it out there. I want to give it a shot and see what it's like. If Amy wants to go, we'll both head out, and if we can, go live from the field, that'd be cool. I'm not sure how the Wi-Fi is doing there. The last time I was out at the field, it wasn't doing so hot. So, yeah, I don't know if there's, combinations of buttons that I can press to make it work on here. I would think that if one controller can individually address, each one of these things, or groups of lights, where they're out at the wingtips or whatever, I would think that they, that maybe both controllers can do it, but I could be wrong. So anyway, I'm going to play around with that. Fellas, thank you guys all so much for stopping by. I just wanted to kind of share, the build process. Anytime I have these planes, I either want to do a build video, or if it's a really simple plane to put together, do a live stream. And I thought this one was worth taking a look at. I'm excited to get this thing out to the field and fly it. And for those of you guys that are going to be at Neffy, that is really the reason that I got the night Radian. So at Neffy, they do allow night flying at the AMA headquarters. So I'm going to have this thing out there till all hours of the night. Anytime the sun is down, this thing is going up. So I'm pretty pumped about having something to fly at night, rather than watching everybody else have all the fun. So looking forward to it. And for those of you guys that are going to be at Neffy, if you've got a night Radian, bring it. I mean, this thing packs up light and small in the car. So bring your night Radian and let's do some night flying at Neffy next weekend. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. For those of you guys that gave me the tips on how to get the wings on and off, sorry I didn't listen to you. It probably would have been wise of me to listen to some of the things that you guys had to say, but I'm hard-headed. Anyway, guys,
Playing from down 02.
in the description for this video, and I mean, come on now, I gotta say this at least once. Boss 223, I will be there on Thursday afternoon-ish. I plan on leaving out on Thursday morning. Hopefully you guys will check the link in the description if you're looking for one of these new night Radians. There's a link in the description to Horizon Hobby. It is a bit.ly link. It says something to the effect of RCAM Night Radian. That will take you directly to the Horizon Hobby website. It pays a small commission back to me when you buy a Night Radian. These are $239. So yeah, even with the price increase, I mean, they went up by a little bit, not by a ton. So check it out, man. It's a nice, relaxing flyer. I'm about to take it to the field. We're going to have some fun. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming out. We will see y'all on Monday night. See you later, guys.